Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Don Carr, and we're here for another round of What's on Your Pedalboard. Today we're here with Mark Lettieri.
All right.
Mark.
There it is.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Air bump. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Hey, so is this your first time at Sweetwater?
It is. Yeah, I've got in last night, and we've been doing cool stuff all day.
Nice.
So it's checked out the whole, compound.
Right, the
it's
campus.
massive, yeah. So I've been having a lot of fun. Great curry in the cafeteria as well. Thank you for that.
Yeah, extra bonus there, big
Yes,
time. Big
indeed.
time.
Cool,
so, so you do a wide variety of work. I mean, wide variety. Of course, everybody knows you for Snarky Puppy, and of course your solo stuff. But you do all kinds of stuff, recording stuff, and play with various artists. And so, finding the pedals and the gear that work for you, man, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a fun process, and it's fun to change things out kind of just depending on what I need to do that day or night.
Right.
But what we have here is essentially the bulk of what would make up, quote unquote, what I think my sound is.
Oh, okay.
So when I do maybe a Snarky Puppy gig or a Mark Lettieri group gig, it would be these things.
So this is the core.
I think so.
Call this the core.
Yeah, good word.
Yeah, we'll call this the core. Well, cool.
Yeah, man.
That's great. So let's walk through your signal flow.
Okay.
Shall we?
Starts with the Don Grosh NOS Retro. I've had this
Absolutely.
guitar for quite a while. Swamp Ash body, maple neck. These are Grosh pickups. It's like just a really killer California style guitar. Does everything I needed to do. So Revelation cable. This is a really dope, very solid cable, and they sound really nice too. Actually, just about all the little cables in here are Revelation cables.
Oh, nice.
Little patch, just about all of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, goes into, it's a PT2 board powered by a True Tone, the big one,
Yeah,
the 12,
yeah, the 12, right, yeah.
which gives out a ton of juice because some of these are actually kind of, the Line 6 takes a bit of juice, and TC is 12 volts. So.
Right.
But yeah, so we go cable. I just put this wah rocker on. These are great. These like envelope filter thing. It's nice. There's a little bit of Verb on the amp, which I just sort of keep on all the time these days. But just kind of got back into the envelope filter thing.
Yeah,
it's
nice,
been
man.
fun.
It's
just
instant vocal though, because it's wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's a
right?
nice texture.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cartoon or something.
Right.
I like it. Next, this is a new edition, this Fox Rocks Octoron 3, which is just a fun set of words to say.
Yeah.
I had sort of seen some demos floating around of these, and just was like, man, I got to grab one of those. So what it does, it's a lower octave and an upper octave fuzz, and you can kind of blend them. And so I think where it's set now. So I like it for leads, but also kind of like rhythm stuff,
Yeah.
It sounds like a Bernie Worrell or kind of key bass kind of thing.
Exactly, like a texture part thing.
Yeah, and in my group in Snarky, like if I'm not playing a melody or something like that, I'll just lay a nice kind of rhythm thing. And so that's just a unique sound for that type of playing.
Cool.
Next is the Hooligan by JRocket Audio Designs, which is like a really thick, furry, good old fuzz. Kind of has almost a mosquito quality to it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it'll get real weird.
Super burly in the low end though, man.
It'll kind of get real out if you... Right, you get that nice low end sort of thud. But it, as they say, it cleans up real nice too. So it's a very musical sounding fuzz, which is great. So these 4 pedals down here, or the next 4, are all by JRocket Audio Designs, so I like to refer to it as the launch pad. Space joke. Anyway, so we did the fuzz. The next is this thing called a Steampunk Boost Buffer. which I leave. It has a buffer inside that you can turn on and off, and I leave it on all the time, just because it's kind of a lot going on here. But it's nice just to have a little bit of extra U, and then not U, and you turn it off. So it doesn't, it's just like a little volume bump, a little bit of, maybe a little bit of high end, but not. It's not like a big sort of grandiose boost.
Right, and you're not pushing the amp necessarily.
I mean, you
anything,
can. I got it set pretty low, but I liked it because it had the buffer in there too, which is nice.
Yeah.
And the next pedal is one I worked on with them. It's called the Melody EQ Drive, and it's a 6-band EQ put into an overdrive pedal. What I dig about it is that it's super flexible as far as guitars and amps and whatever kind of backline you might have, because it has the 6-band EQ instead of a tone knob. So I leave it set. I mean, this is sort of a somewhat standard setting for it, I guess. So it works well with how hard you play, and I'll play, whatever, lead line or chords or anything. It's one of those things you could kind of leave on.
Yeah, really dynamic. I can see that, just even touch and volume
control. Yeah, because I'll play with my volume control often, but most of the time it's on 10, and then I just don't pick as hard. So it was good having an overdrive that could handle that kind of style, and then also sort of just tweak if you need to tweak in a mix in a recording situation or something. So having the 6-band EQ was great.
Yeah.
And then the next one, the last Rocket pedal, is the JRocket Dude, which is kind of my like high gain-ish sound. I mean, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but all right, like you do the thing. So that's cool for any kind of heavy rock stuff. I usually will stack the two of them for a high gain kind of lead sound. Yeah. The other thing about the Melody is that if you really want to like mess with the EQ to then hit the pedal after it, it'll sort of recalibrate it.
Right.
Sound,
Well,
okay.
The dude abides.
The dude. Right? There it is.
There it is.
MXR EVH Phase 90. I love Phase 90s, man. Like, you can't beat them. It's just sort of the sound.
It is. It's the iconic sound, and man, Eddie, of course, he nailed it with that one, man.
It's just so cool. So that's always around on my board, and I just, I don't really play like Eddie, even though he's like one of my huge influences. Sure. I could never quite sort of do that, but so I love just playing. Which is it's a phaser. It's the sound of funk occasionally.
Exactly.
Love it. Another Dunlop product, the volume pedal, which is super cool. It sounds fine. It's built like a tank. It has a little mechanism inside, so you can tighten how loose or whatever the travel is.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing. I usually keep it floored all the way unless I'm doing some sort of volume swell thing. Next is the Line 6 M5. That's been here for a long time. I had it modded by this guy Jack Vaughn, and he added this memory switch, so you don't have to step on both things. And I know they've upgraded to the Helix and all these other things, but I just keep using it.
Man,
so
kind of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort
and
of
I've,
concept.
I've learned it well, and I've got my nice sounds in there that I like. I think it's here we got a pitch vibrato. Cool, I dig it.
Yeah, it works.
Next, Monument Trim by Walrus, which is cool. It's got the nice tap, which I love having tap on a trim.
So yeah, because sometimes you want the shake, and sometimes you just want a little swell and a little sway. So the tap is really nice.
The tap is nice. Sometimes I guess if you can kind of get it to the tempo of the song, it kind of get rid of that sort of seasickness thing where like there's the tremolo.
Where it's fighting the groove,
which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you want that, but I like at least having the option of trying to get it close. MXR Carbon Copy. This is the little tiny one.
Yeah.
Theirs are awesome. I usually kind of leave this on a lot. It's just barely there, you know what I mean? A little bit of slap. And you can kind of play rhythm guitar stuff with it. Doesn't really get in the way, it just gives it a little bit more ambience. Of course, and it's got the modulation if you want to do crazy
Yeah, and
stuff.
that's one of the great things about the carbon copy anyway, is that it stays out of the way.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the
gives
park,
you,
those.
you know, fills it up.
For sure. So if I want to do kind of a little more hi-fi stuff, I have my TC Nova delay, which is, again, it's one of those delays I've had just forever. And I love it because it's got the BPM if I want to dial it in for a tune in a session or something. And I don't go real crazy with it. I might change the subdivision every now and then, but
Yeah.
you know, stacking the two of them together, get the long and the short. That's what I'll do for maybe a lead or something.
Yeah.
And then the Hall of Fame reverb, however you say it, I have it set to a plate setting, which is nice. I'll turn the reverb off the amp real quick so you can just kind of hear it. But and I have a preset that I made with them too, a tone print, which I believe is this one. I think it might be, yeah, it's called the Montreal, which is named after, well, it's a city, but it's also a song of mine. So it's nice kind of lush stuff, but then if you turn this down, it'll do almost like a kind of weird modulated slap reverb, which I kind of think is cool.
Yeah, it's got some motion in it still.
Yeah, but it's sort of almost like gated in a sense or something. So
yeah,
very
not
flexible.
washed out.
Right.
You know?
So there you have it. That's the
Wow.
board, man.
Wow, that's it. That's a lot of firepower there.
It does a
man.
lot. Yeah, I mean, it really maybe does more than I need it to do, but like I'd rather have it if I
Have
get
it not
the itch
need
to
it.
Scratch. Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're on the gig and it's like, man, I want to go for. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't bring
that one.
Yeah.
So
That hurts.
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun. It gets me in a lot of trouble. Say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it probably saves you a lot of trouble too.
I think it does.
Right?
Yeah,
I think it does. I would have to agree with
Totally.
that. I would have to agree with that.
Cool, man.
Mark, thanks so
My
much
pleasure.
for being here, man.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Great stuff, man. Continued success, of course, in all your musical endeavors, my
Appreciate you, man.
friend.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
All right.
All right.
There it is.
And thank you. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.